Braxcast time once again, guys. This is the 79th episode of the Braxcast, and while it's been a crazy week in terms of the political realm, not even going to get into that. I think you guys all know why. I've talked about it before, but a slow news week for the Rippaverse because all we really had was the release of the Definitive Yaira collection. So, of course, we've got Yaira's soft cover here. This is done by, actually, this is the hardcover, excuse me, and this is done by Will Conrad. Fantastic artist, of course, artist of all the Dokuman cards, along with Gooding the Polymath and some stuff for the posters as well. He's done some poster art as well, so fantastic artist. He's done numerous covers for the Rippaverse. I believe he did cover D for Yaira number 3 as well, so it's very fitting that he's on the hardcover for this, and this is a really nice one. This is, of course, collecting the first 3 issues of Yaira, and I've gone on record saying that Yaira is my favorite book, with Yaira number 3 being a really good capstone to the first arc of Yaira. So if you're just getting into the Rippaverse and you're interested in the character of Yaira, then I honestly would recommend picking this up. Of course, the hardcover is going to be a bit more pricier than the soft cover. This is Mark Evans' soft cover. I believe Mark Evans actually has done a lot of these like really hyper-realistic, very nice like watercolored is what the impression is. He did like cover D for Alpha Core, stuff like that. I believe he did a Horseman cover as well. But Alpha Core number 1 cover D, I believe, is what really strikes out to me as being probably his best Rippaverse cover. Other than this is a really nice cover. I absolutely love the logo there, and this, I believe, is $40. So if you're interested in the Rippaverse, you're just getting into the Rippaverse, and you just stumble upon Braxcast, then I would definitely recommend picking up this Definitive Yaira collection, since you'll be able to read all 3 issues of Yaira in one go, and it really works as being just that one continuous story, with Yaira number 1 being a really good setup, number 2 being shorter and a little bit messier, but number 3 really tying everything together and giving some really great insights, not only into Yaira's character, but the general lore of the Rippaverse. And that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to get into spoilers of the book. And then we've also got some merch options as well. Of course, you got the soft cover, the hardcover, a Definitive Yaira poster, a shirt, and a hat. And like I said on the live stream that I did yesterday, of course, I record and post these on Saturdays, and I will live stream on Fridays, Braxcast Live. I said, this is a nice collection. I do like this. It's not something I'm really down to get in on because I already own all these issues, and I don't find the omnibuses to be super collectible. If I had the room in my budget, then sure I would, but I just don't right now. And even if I did, it's not as enticing as just saving the money and buying other things with it in terms of the entertainment realm, because there's plenty of other things in the entertainment realm to spend your money on. As much as I love the Rippaverse, stuff like this is like, it's not really that necessary, and they don't do signed and graded copies for the omnibuses, and I always view those individual issues as being much more collectible. Anyway, in terms of the merch options, I always love all the merch. I have the Yaira hat. I have a bunch of Yaira shirts, so I do love the Yaira merch. I do love the Rippaverse merch in general. The Rippaverse hoodie is what I wear to the gym when I go in the mornings, and I'm getting back to wearing that because it's getting to that time of year where you have to, where it's cold enough to wear hoodies again, which is a bit always nice and odd, but I do like the colder times, but always indicative that the year just flies by. But anyways, to get back on topic, don't necessarily need the merch either, since I already have a ton of Rippaverse merch. So this is how, like I said, imagine a lot of the fans feel with these omnibus collections, that they're cool, but they just don't need them. But hopefully these soft covers for Definitive Isom and Definitive Yaira stay around as evergreen products, because they are really good ways to get in on a bunch of issues for an individual series. Of course, the Rippaverse Years 1 through 3 omnibus is a really cool thing to do, but that's a much bigger buy-in if you're only interested in Isom or you're only interested in Yaira. Then having these as cheaper options makes sense, and hopefully they do like Definitive Forspin, Definitive Alpha Core, if we ever get Alpha Core 2, and we ever get up to Alpha Core 3, which I'm sure we will, but it's just going to take some time. for there to be enough alpha core to do that and enough of the other issues, since we only have number 3s for 2 series in the Rippaverse so far, and that is, of course, Yaira and Isom, so it does make sense that they have their definitive omnibus series, and I do like that branding, and I like the way they do the logo for Yaira. I love her. I love Yaira's logo, and I love that definitive. It's just a really nice, bold, beautiful blue text. I think they did a really good job, but like I said, I think there's reasons why the fans aren't as enthusiastic as the new releases, because if you already have all 3 of these issues, or you read 1 or 2 issues of Yaira and you didn't care for the 3rd, then there's no reason to get this. But there is some other news. Norfolka Glorious Death closed its pre-orders yesterday. And I believe it closed somewhere around $300,000, was $280,000 around the time that I checked. Did not check the numbers this morning, but it was around that 280 mark, so I don't think it hit the 500,000, which would be in the last milestone for us to reach, I believe, because we got all the other milestones, so we're not getting that Norfolka Dokumon deck, at least with the Norfolka 1 collection. We might get it later on in the ongoing or the limited series of Norfolka, which hopefully we do. Love Dokumon cards. But we did get that concept art book. We got a cassette tape. We got a whole bunch of really cool things. And of course, I think there's a work on an EP that is happening because of that Billboard charting. So really cool stuff to see. Very excited to see Norfolka closing its pre-orders and then getting on to fulfillment. But also, Saints and Sinners is going to be fulfilling this month, because if you're watching this over the weekend, you still have time to make sure your address is correct for it to be fulfilled. Those emails were sent out, so if you want to change your address, you just go put in a ticket with Rippaverse, put in the order number that has Saints and Sinners, and then the new address and the old address, and then we'll get it changed right for you. But hopefully everything is all good with that. If you're watching after this, or you can get it done before, but the deadline is Monday the 15th, so I imagine it's going to be fulfilling at the end of this week coming up, or the next week, but definitely within the month of September. So look out for a review of Saints and Sinners from me, and since this is an anthology collection, I will be reviewing all of the short stories individually, and I'll be giving my short little blurb on the video format and as the written review. But that's really all I have for you guys, other than the fact that we might be getting an announcement for another book next week. Of course, when I was live streaming Mike Has Bad Knees, really great fan of the channel, Rippaverse in general, said that Eric kind of NDA'd himself on a book being released next week. I'm not sure 100% of that's going to happen, but if it does, I would say look out for Great War Separation number 3, most likely. And then after that, Alpha Core 2 and The Cursed and The Black-Eyed Club, which are those solo books from Michael and Lillian, which I did an episode of Braxcast about those 2. So if you're interested in those characters, check that one out for sure. But regardless, that is all I have for you guys in this episode of Braxcast. Like I said, a bit of a slow news week. Hopefully next week we do get that collection that releases a new book to be released, so I can have something really exciting for you guys. But if not, I got plenty of stuff to talk about in the archives of the Rippaverse. But whatever it is I talk about next week, I will be here next week. So hopefully you guys will be as well. But that's all I have for you guys today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Joker is out.
Thank you for tuning in to the Braxcast. Be sure to like, comment, follow, and subscribe to keep up with the Rippaverse.